Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Monday night of October 20th, Monday, where we're kind of winding down that first day of the work week and enjoying this pretty view. I never get tired of looking at it from our SkyTrack network. Our camera situated across the river on the Jeffersonville side, just observing that downtown skyline. Not too many stars in the sky that I see as we check in on the clock at 8:05 and 30 seconds. And yes, it is my voice. In case for those who might have noticed that I took a week off, just a little time off away from the Wave Now studio, but glad to be back here and leading you folks as we unpack the day's top stories. And honestly, a pretty busy day of stories to keep track of as far as breaking news and stories we've been staying on top of. The Wave News team has, of course, you know, the news happens and it goes on, and there's still a team that's working hard, even while those like myself might be taking a couple of days off just to enjoy some downtime. But always appreciate being back here to share these stories, whether you're connecting with us through the Wave Now app on your smart TVs or back in the usual crowd connecting with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Always appreciate you doing so at this time of night, which, by the way, the night, at least for us, it's not quite over yet. Just whatever does happen, we have the crew at the digital desk, our photographers, reporters on standby just in case. Should anything happen, we'll make sure to get that information out to you, and preparing, of course, tonight for Wave News at 11. So let's jump right into it. And this is sort of a little bit of a tease to part of the story that we're going to touch on tonight. Likely to start the news at 11 is what our reporter Julie Richardson is working on. And when I say it's of some pretty keen interest to a lot of folks, a lot of growing interest. This is a major highway project we're going to be keeping tabs on. It's going to cut through the heart of the metro. By the way, for those of you who might have gone to this meeting at the main library, maybe come back from home, what sort of lets you know the stakes involved is if you ever look at Louisville Metro's council district map, their government website, so you can see the 3 zones involved where thousands of families, not just the commuters and drivers who use this part of I-65, but all of you are going to be impacted by this I-65 Central Corridor project in some way, shape, or form. So that's why, in part, there were 3 Metro Council members who we know were at this informational meeting that started at around 6. Reporter Julia Richardson spending some time there. At our latest check, you know, it was kind of a sort of a setup by presenters and trying to exchange and lay out as much of this key information for folks about closures, impacts, detours that might be available, the timeline of the project as far as that's concerned. And that's certainly something we're going to go step by step with you tonight as far as the big consequences, short and long term as well. I want to take you out now to the corner of First and Ali. In fact, I went out there when we kind of got the scanner confirmation, I guess, you know, from police and ambulance scanners that this was going on. The only thing we could confirm around the time this happened was from our Metro Safe sources that there was somebody hurt in this crash between an ambulance and another car. And so this is kind of what we were able to see from across the corner from the J. Graham Brown School right there on First and Ali. But I'll just narrate really quickly what you're seeing that we were able to catch was that tow truck take the ambulance that was damaged away. So that needed to be towed. We couldn't see any, at least from this particular corner, any noticeable damage to the walls of the Brown School. For some time, you see that LMPD gray sedan. It was blocking that southbound traffic on First Street, but there was a second tow truck, which you might have caught a glimpse of there earlier, and that was trying to take away what looked like this Nissan, could be an SUV, but just the other car involved. There was a Nissan there, and there's part of that. You could see this patch of sidewalk, a little bit of plastic molding debris, and the sand and dirt laid out. So we did get a confirmed statement. This is the early investigation from LMPD's First Division. So they do confirm this was a car crash on First and West Ali. That's an EMS marked ambulance. So they apparently were moving through the intersection with their lights and sirens on, trying to take a patient who was on board. But then they collided with this, likely it was a dark color Nissan. Not sure it was an SUV, but it was another passenger car. So they hit. That impact caused the ambulance, then hit the side apparently of that building at the J. Graham Brown School. Though again, we couldn't see any major scraping or tearing or chipping at the wall itself. We did also find out from police that the ambulance had 2 crew members on board and a patient. One of those EMTs and the patients had to be switched to another ambulance, another EMS unit, taken to University Hospital. But those injuries don't seem to be too serious. Then we also found out there was someone walking on the sidewalk that was hit by the impact of the 2 cars crashing as well, but not necessarily life-threatening injuries there. And there was also a case of someone being hurt inside of that Nissan, the passenger car. Once we do get any more clarifying information, we'll make sure to update that and let you know what's going on, or perhaps to illuminate perhaps who crossed the intersection and how that all unfolded, perhaps. Real quick, more updates tonight. We learned a Jeffersonville police officer's on leave after he was arrested for drunk driving in Harrison County. So this is a picture of Officer Austin Schoen. He's a probationary patrol officer with Jeffersonville PD. He was hired back in February. JPD telling us, though, Schoen was arrested early Sunday morning. He was off duty, but he's accused of operating while intoxicated, the OWI, with a blood alcohol level of 0.15 or higher. He is now on unpaid leave as a criminal and internal investigation is ongoing. All right, coming back here in the studio. So for context, taking the macro issue, of course, as we're still following the government shutdown and whatever decisions and negotiations come out of Washington and Capitol Hill, but all said still, around 42 million Americans, now they're at risk of losing critical food assistance, and that's looking at next month. This is some of the reporting that our Wave News' Logan Perrone wanted to spend some time doing today to look into how this is going to impact our local food pantries. Logan finding out federal leaders announced earlier this month the food stamp program is going to run out of money by the end of the month. Could make lines outside some food pantries like the one where we visited, the Jeffersontown area ministries, a little longer. About 1 in 8 Americans does get help buying food through SNAP or other food stamp programs. Here in Kentucky, there are about 600,000 people who do use these benefits. Uncertainty is the operating feeling for a lot of folks, and there's years that food pantries say they've been tracking data of increasing demand for help by their neighbors. He spent some time talking to the JAM executive director, saying that they do expect more people to start leaning on community organizations if benefits are not funded in November.
We are the safety net for all of Louisville. And there are other food pantries depending on the area, depending on the demand in the area. But when the government cuts funding to the lowest income folks, that impacts them greatly.
Again, at this point, it's not clear whether the administration is going to step in to find funds to continue benefits or deal with other policy priorities. The shutdown does not impact SNAP benefit for this month, though, since that was already paid out. As a reminder, Logan does have his full report up on wave3.com. And when you do go visit that, you'll be able to hear from some more people who are relying on assistance recently and are very much concerned about what happens next. I want to show you this update, this graphic with another story we've been following, and there's layers to this as more reporting and more confirmation from sources and investigators has come out. So this is a Louisville man who's now in police custody because officers say he tried to buy a Dodge Charger with credit cards that are linked to Volunteers of America, the VOA. 36-year-old Timothy Rutledge charged with fraud. His arrest report says he used 2 credit cards linked to this transaction, alleging he tried on October 4th to buy this car at a used car shop on Dixie. Per the report and police, Rutledge tried to put a $4,000 down payment on a 2017 Charger. He allegedly got these cards from Jessica Todd, who worked as a lead cook with VOA before she was fired. The report even disclosing that these adults have a child together. Now, that name sticks out because Todd was arrested last Thursday on a fraud charge, accused of using 2 VOA credit cards for her own personal purchases. In the report, Todd's described as the lead cook for the organization with access to multiple lines of credit, that she allegedly used 2 of these cards to put a down payment on a vehicle totaling more than $4,000, and she was fired before her arrest. Now, we did get a statement from VOA Mid-States telling us an internal investigation is underway. They're working with law enforcement. That the VOA, though, maintains they're committed to a, quote, swift, transparent, and accountable response when malfeasance is detected, as you see there, according to the official statement. Todd, we also learned, has previous convictions, including for criminal possession of a forged instrument and theft by deception for cold checks that were under $500. Some more context in this investigation. By the way, reminder, our troubleshooters team had spent time, Arlena Noakes, in fact, looking into this investigation of the former chief operating officer of VOA Mid-States. If that rings familiar to some of you, the federal prosecutors believe that Tiffany Cole Hall defrauded the VOA of more than $115,000 over 5 years. She, in her own right, is facing 6 counts of wire fraud. Prosecutors accuse Hall of using the organization's credit cards for her own personal purchases from late 2017 to late 2022. There's a change of plea hearing that is scheduled for October 28th for her. And there's also a civil lawsuit against Hall that is also ongoing. And one more update in this big stretch of stories from our reporting team today. This kind of has to do perhaps with some of the conversations over funding certain key programs that have been government benefits. So Governor Andy Beshear today announced that the state is reallocating more than $9 million to pay for seniors' meals. It's funding that ran out for the program, with the state facing a $305 million budget shortfall. So that's relative to the state there. The senior meals program does bring food to some of the more vulnerable communities and vulnerable people living in those parts of the state. Seniors, in many cases, who live alone without means or an ability to buy or prepare meals for themselves. So Wave News reporter David Mattingly met one longtime resident here in Louisville who describes in very clear terms what this assistance means to her.
At 95, Florence Ernst depends on Meals on Wheels. So when she was notified in September that her deliveries of 5 meals a week were going to end, she was lost in worry.
It is scary. It was scary, yes. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do.
Florence was just one of 900 Jefferson County seniors at the time, wondering where their next meal was coming from.
They were devastated, confused. It's something because it came out of nowhere.
Meals on Wheels volunteer Kurt Culmer saw a shaken sense of security among his most vulnerable clients. Fears diminished somewhat on October 6th when Mayor Craig Greenberg pledged to keep the meals going with Metro funding for the rest of the year. But people like Florence were left wondering, what happens after that?
I can't go to the grocery. I mean, I don't drive. I don't have a car. And I just depend on them.
You know how the people are. I mean, you're always going to have it in the back of your mind. Okay, they're going to take it away from you again.
Now, Monday afternoon, Governor Andy Beshear announces a reallocation of $9.1 million in state money to restore senior meal funding statewide. It doesn't come with any guarantees.
This wasn't a routine or regular movement of budgeted dollars, but required we find a usable, specific pot of money. To be clear, such a pot likely won't be available in the future for this or other programs.
The words may not immediately restore confidence in a once reliable source of comfort for vulnerable seniors, But Florence Ernst is happy for the momentary relief.
I don't know what I would have done, I don't know what I would have done. But I'm so happy that they started it back up again.
All right, thanks to David Mattingly for that report. And we also found out in that confirmation, that announcement of the money reallocation from Governor Bashir, that he was asking his administration to review the senior meals program to understand what the future funding needs are going to be beyond that specific reallocation from that pot of money, and what a sustainable solution would be in that regard. We're going to have more stories after this quick break here on Wave News Extra, including a check-in on a deadly home explosion up in southern Indiana, and also what plans are going to be out in Elizabethtown, the E-Town airport, wanting to expand and attract a little more business to keep those new fonts of industry, perhaps giving them access to the community's resources. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with more of tonight's Wave News Extra. Welcome back in after this quick break on Wave News Extra, folks. Wanted to jump right in to show you this video that our crews were able to get around 4:30 this afternoon. Just an awful scene, because in the end we discovered and confirmed a person died. 2 more were badly hurt and needed to be treated. This is an explosion and a fire that destroyed this mobile home overnight. The extent of the damage, you see everything that's boarded up, charred, that's gone. This is up in Salem, Indiana, and the fire department telling us this explosion actually happened in the dark of night around 1:40 this morning on Rainier Drive. 3 people inside, 2 people were able to get out before firefighters got there to try and stop this from spreading, but a woman was found inside the home and later died. Her name has not been released just yet. When we do find that out, we'll share that with you, and the cause of the explosion is still under investigation. Perhaps, a story with much further reaching implications. Of course, it has impact to all of those of us here in Wave Country who have access to the internet, who need sort of these, these computer systems and the software to kind of go about our day-to-day lives. Maybe we don't think about what Amazon Web Services is doing in each of our respective, companies or services we're looking for. But either way, the outage, that was going on for much of today, dealing with a lot of issues affecting various websites worldwide. In the end, we discovered kind of the scale of this. Hundreds of online services, platforms, slowly but surely getting back up and running. This was a widespread outage that started earlier in the morning. Some of the services affected included things maybe like your Venmo, your Snapchat, your Facebook, Prime Video, Amazon's own cloud computing was impacted. Some airlines, including Delta and United, reported they had some flight disruptions to some of their own systems. Amazon Web Services says that it was having issues with its cloud service operations when it comes to that. Heads up, folks, since several lanes of Market Street are closed in downtown Louisville, this is for some emergency sewer line repairs. MSD confirming with us there was about one lane open on Market. You might have noticed this. Market between 3rd and 4th Street, right next to the convention center. So repairs here are going to take about a week, and drivers may want to factor that in and find a detour if this messes with their usual commute. The sewer service itself should not be impacted, but again, you can now kind of mark where this is going to be a site that you're going to have to drive around. Market Street reduced to one lane between 3rd and 4th Street. Going back here into the studio, the city of Elizabethtown, so not too far away, but definitely here in Wave Country, moving forward with plans to expand their own regional airport. They've acquired land near the airport facility to build a brand new runway. Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Francescini went out there and he found out and explains that the arrival of some new companies, including Blue Oval SK and their electric car batteries, has the city looking for ways to meet the need for more airport space.
Officials credit the Elizabethtown Regional Airport with a lot of the growth that the area has seen in the past few years. And now they say they have to expand the airport and even build a new runway to meet the demand.
You know, an airport kind of is the front door of a community like Elizabethtown.
That front door is now getting a major facelift. Construction at the airport includes expanding the airport terminal and the T-hangar at Addington Field. And board chair Carl Swope says hopefully they'll soon be able to build a new runway.
And the reason is that all of our stakeholders are looking for us to, again, make this a more capable airport for the future.
The city of Elizabethtown has purchased 220 acres right next to the airport. Swope says the new runway would help support more traffic and larger planes.
Fort Knox has been talking to us about an interest in partnering in the ability to even potentially be able to deploy out of the Elizabethtown airport because Godman Field will not be able to expand.
Swope says the time to grow is now, saying the airport would need to move miles away if it doesn't use the land the city purchased. The project to build a new runway would depend on approval from the FAA. Reporting in Elizabethtown, Fernando Garcia Francescini, Wave News.
Time for another quick check outside of our, or using our SkyTrack network cameras, I should say, observing that car traffic still crossing across from downtown Louisville heading into southern Indiana, but enjoying the temperatures. We're dropping down. Looks like 60 according to our gauge there on the graphic. I'm going to be talking this fall weather, what changes are in store. A reminder, folks, for those of you who are night owls and want to check in on the latest information to get ready for the day ahead on Tuesday. The storm tracking team is going to walk us through all of that starting at 11 tonight. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Harnett going to be there to walk us through all of that. So make sure you check in and follow along as we have that for you at the top of that hour at 11 o'clock. Much more news and stories to unpack and unwind for you, including some pretty captivating body camera footage from police involving an arrested investigation into suspects trying to essentially take older folks' life savings through the means of a gold bar scheme. That'll be an interesting piece and a story to share with you all when we come back from the break. So we'll be right back after this brief pause on tonight's Wave News Extra.
Go get the Prius. I'm smashing the window.
Take a look at this, folks. There we go. So this is brand new body camera video showing us how police and the FBI actually arrested two people who they say were trying to take hundreds of thousands of dollars in gold coins from an elderly couple. That's the stakes involved in that arrest. Federal investigators actually brought Antonio Pena and Brandy Durst to Louisville. So they brought them back to face these federal wire fraud and money laundering charges. This is part of the work our troubleshooters team has been doing, of course, in many different investigations. This is a report done by our Mark Stevens showing us more of their arrests, the work that went into getting these arrests, and just some context for you that Mark has provided to us. So the Clark County Sheriff's Office from Washington State, they were working a fraud case when where a couple had already lost $900,000, so close to $1 million lost there to fraud. They were convinced by scammers, the victims were, they'd been hacked and had to turn their savings into gold to be picked up by couriers who were posing as Federal Reserve agents. Police then set up a sting to try to catch the couriers in the act, and we're about to play Mark's report for you right here.
He's running.
You're watching police and the FBI break up part of a gold bar scam.
Get on the ground or you're going to get tased.
The investigation started in Louisville last year. Here in Clark County, Washington, police nabbed international basketball player Antonio Pena.
Go get the Prius. Go get the Prius. Go get the Prius. I'm smashing the window.
And his accomplice, Brandy Durst.
Get out. Get out.
I am.
Hands on the truck.
The two face federal charges in Louisville, accused of stealing millions from people convinced their bank accounts had been hacked. The only safe way to keep their cash was to buy gold and give it to couriers for safe storage.
I don't know. You know exactly what are you doing, bro. No, stealing from old people. No, I'm not. Bullshit.
Court records show police and the FBI set up this sting with a couple who had already lost more than $900,000 in gold taken by Durst.
All right, Prius is in custody.
They set up this ruse. The bait, another $500,000 in gold coins.
Bullshit. I can hear her on your phone.
Cops find Pena's phone on a four-way call in the Prius driven by Durst.
Yep, it's on airplane mode.
She was on the phone with you right now.
With the couple involved in the sting.
When I was detaining him, his cell phone was in his pocket, and I heard the conversation with her.
Can you write us up?
They had tailed that Prius following the couple to this Kohl's parking lot. Durst says nothing after police read her Miranda rights. Pena tries to explain why he ran.
Come on, bro. I'm walking somewhere ahead. Just pretty. I don't know what the is wrong.
Yeah, you don't know this is the police?
He denied knowing Durst, claiming she was an Uber driver.
What car is your car?
The Prius, yeah.
That's your car?
Yeah.
The blue one?
Yeah.
Is it yours?
No, it's not mine.
Whose is it?
It's a rental.
Did you rent it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's driving it?
She was.
Okay, what's her name?
You having someone drive your rental and you don't know her name?
Nah, she was just picking me up, honestly.
Come on, bro. Come on, man. You know that's full of crap.
Court records show police tracked Pena using rental cars in Louisville and Chicago to make gold bar pickups. On this summer day, this rental car was tagged into evidence.
Couple pieces of evidence tape, and away we go.
Pena and Durst taken to jail. Their pickup foiled.
All right, thanks to Mark Stevens for breaking down that pretty intense body camera video right there. Again, federal investigators are accusing this pair of Durst and Pena of stealing $3 million from victims across the country. Both have pleaded not guilty to those federal wire fraud and money laundering charges. Their respective trials are set for January. More news to break down for you guys. Changes may be on the horizon for one of JCPS's newest schools. In fact, district leaders say they're considering making changes to the boundaries for Echo Trail Middle School. The goal is to try and bring down some of the overcrowding to alleviate it. Under this plan, some students may be sent to Crosby Middle. There's no final decision made, though, and JCPS is going to host some information sessions, not just like the one tonight. There will be another one a little bit later. In fact, so yeah, the first one was tonight. It was at Eastern High School's auditorium. Leaders are also going to host another session. This one tomorrow is at Eastern's multi-purpose room from 6 until 7. You can find more details if you wanted to make sure to come and join in the conversation and the discussion. That's going to be on JCPS's website. All right, coming back here into the studio, another update from our reporting team of 2 men arrested in connection to the shooting death of their brother near Fern Creek this weekend. Well, they made their first appearance in court earlier today. Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote has more of those details for us.
Just before 3 in the morning on Sunday, LMPD responded to a shooting at an apartment complex on Brentlinger Park Drive. That's where they found 30-year-old Daryl Burnett Jr. shot in the head and the leg, allegedly by his brothers. He was taken to U of L Hospital, where he later died. Hours later, LMPD arrested 37-year-old Daryl E. Burnett, charging him with murder, and 36-year-old Kiara Page with second-degree assault. Police say both men are brothers of the victim, and the three were arguing before the shooting. Surveillance video obtained by LMPD, which has not been released, is said to show a physical altercation between Burnett Jr. and Page. Page allegedly fires a handgun, striking Burnett Jr. in the leg. That's when LMPD says more video shows the older brother, 37-year-old Daryl R. Burnett, leaving the scene with a rifle and shooting Burnett Jr. in the head. Overnight, Burnett's bond was set at $200,000. This morning in court, the Commonwealth asked to increase that to $500,000.
Respectfully, based on seriousness and the information before the court, I will grant the county's motion increasing to $500,000.
Page also pleaded not guilty to the second-degree assault charge. His bond was set at $75,000. Both will get home incarceration if they post their bonds. They're also not allowed to have contact with the family members or firearms. Page and Burnett will be making their next court appearance on October 28th at 9 o'clock. Kirsten Foote, Wave News.
Moving on to more stories for this afternoon. We're going international right now, and we've been checking on this one. The Louvre Museum in Paris, world-renowned facility. It's still closed today after a daring jewelry heist at the museum over this weekend. So Sunday, police saying robbers stole this jewelry from the room that houses the French crown jewels. It took them only 7 minutes to get in and get out. 8 of the 9 items taken remain unaccounted for. These include a tiara and a necklace worn by a French royalty. French police saying the thieves used a ladder on a truck to get into what's called the Apollo Gallery through a window. It's one of the more elaborate rooms inside the Louvre facility. The thieves also apparently used several tools, including a blowtorch, to get inside the display cases. Police say that they then took off with the jewels on motorcycles.
I think that it's a sponsor and the things that's been organized. The jewelry will be cut up or butchered and sold. I don't think anything else. I think that the moral of the French people are going to be totally broken by this new episode from a very, very bad Netflix film.
That was a French senator commenting on the state of affairs for the details that have been revealed in the case. No arrests have been made just yet either. It's believed the jewelry, as she mentioned, was going to be cut up and sold and used as a money laundering system. So certainly a case with all eyes and ears internationally so, and to see what comes of this investigation to find the alleged and suspected thieves. Taking another quick live look outside and enjoying the downtown skyline view through our SkyTrack network and checking on those temperatures. Not much has changed there as far as that same gauge of a crisp 60 for us as we wind down on this Monday night. We're going to be right back to do one more round of stories to share with you on tonight's Wave News Extra after the break. .42 on this Monday night, and for any pro hoops fans out there, the NBA is returning to NBC tomorrow night with the season opening doubleheader. So the network decided to celebrate with their new display outside of the 30 Rock New York headquarters. Take a look at this row of 30 Rock displays outside of the plaza. They were painted for each of the NBA's 30 markets. So you take a look at the respective cities out there. Oh, this is the season for sniffles and sneezes. Excuse me, folks. Well, yeah, so local artists painted the giant rocks, as it were, that help represent each team's city and culture. So a nice evident shot of the Detroit Piston colors there, for example. Now, once the display ends, oh, gotta love this. The rock's going to be sent to their home market. So our closest one here in Wave Country, if you wanted to check that out, would be standing tall and proud outside of the Pacers' home arena up in Indianapolis. A reminder, opening night tip-off coverage starts at 6:30 tomorrow night. It's the Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, followed by the Golden State Warriors playing a West Coast game at the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's talk about some homegrown fun coming up for 2026's Railbird Music Festival. The headliners we've learned are going to be Tyler Childers and the Lumineers. The festival, this is happening June 6th and 7th at the Infield at Red Mile in Lexington. Tickets are going to go on sale Wednesday at noon for the show. So these are general admission tickets, VIP options. 2-day packages are also going to be available for folks to buy. More than 30 artists are set to take the stage at this iconic horse racetrack. The festival also includes some curated bourbon experiences. You can learn more about it on their website. That's railbirdfest.com. All right, see if I can get through the sniffle here really quick. Give me a second. up, but hopefully that kind of smell would put me in a great mood. So the Jeffersonville staple that many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with has 3 major milestones coming up. So they're inviting the public to join them in a sweet celebration. Chimps Confectionery was named Best Candy Store in America earlier this year. Owners Warren and Jill Schimpf are celebrating 35 years of owning and running the business as well. And they're about to pass the torch onto a 5th generation of candy makers. Cousin Steve is Steve Shepard. And with so much to celebrate, Schimpf says it wants to thank the community for their support all 134 years that the whole business has been in operation. So here's some details to share with you. This is the open invitation celebration for the public happening on Friday, November 7th. It starts at 10 in the morning at their store, 347 Spring Street. Mayor Mike Moore and some other local officials are going to host a ribbon cutting, complete with live music and some free Red Hot samples. A portion of Spring Street is going to be closed to make room for the crowds that are likely to come join in this event. You can find more details on Schimpf's celebration on their Facebook page. The beauty of live streaming, folks, as you're trying to get yourself cleaned up and understanding that with the season change, the cold was going to hit there as well. So here at Wave News, we do like to kind of end on a good note, especially on Wave News Extra and streaming. Of course, there's things that happen, breaking news that happens any given day. But in part of our What's Good series, want to highlight the things that are happening, making a true positive difference for folks out in the community. So today, we're highlighting a day that the University of Louisville calls one of the more inspiring days it has on its calendars and its semesters throughout the course of the year. Raise Some L is a day to raise money to support campus life, helping with everything from scholarships for students who need them most to scientific research, helping kids with spinal injuries walk again one day. Our anchor Brian Schlonsky visited campus to meet a student who says that his scholarship has changed his life for the better.
So right now I have military obligations, but when I get out, I'm looking for something, hopefully maybe back in Kentucky, potentially like a TQL on 4th Street.
From ROTC to working towards a marketing degree, University of Louisville senior Devin Dixon is driven to succeed.
It's helped me to maintain that attention specifically to school, which has allowed me to go for a minor as well.
But unlike millions of Americans, when Dixon graduates, he'll be debt-free. Along with his military commitment, he's the recipient of a prestigious scholarship given to students who achieve in the classroom and the community. Without that financial help,
it definitely would have affected me. I don't even know if I've been able to afford going here at U of L.
It's why days like this Tuesday are so important. It's the university's Raise Some L Day, when everyone from students to alumni to simply those who care about the future donate money for different U of L causes, like this year's Cardinal Commitment Grant Scholarship.
Generating research with children, there's not many people in the world who are doing that.
And sometimes the money goes to causes that are so much more important than most of us could ever imagine.
It takes children who are facing pediatric neurological issues, and they work with them through therapies.
Alexis Allen with U of L is talking about the COSAIR for Kids Center for Pediatric Neuro Recovery. The center is also a focus of the donations this year, treating kids with spinal cord injuries and working with them to rehab, to recover, to walk again.
You see these students go from, they've been here for years and they went from not being able to walk, not being able to talk, to now you see them jumping, moving, running on treadmills and doing all the things that they couldn't before.
For Dixon, on the cusp of entering the world and achieving his dreams, it's a reminder to always be thankful.
It's bigger than us. It's something that can continue to expand beyond ourselves.
All right, thanks to Brian for that opportunity to get to know some of the beneficiaries of this great support. Raise Some L begins tomorrow at 6:02 p.m. It runs through midnight on Wednesday. So you might ask why a start time that's so specific, like 6:02. So this means people can donate for a total of 1,798 minutes. That is a nod to U of L's founding year, 1798. If you'd like to donate, you could visit the website. That's raisesamel.org. By the way, we want to hear about what's also happening good in your neck of the woods throughout the community. If you have a story that you want us to check out and meet the people involved, send us an email. That address is what's good. So WHATS, no apostrophe, what's good at wave3.com. And that way we can add it to the score of stories that we always make sure to update you with here on the wave3.com homepage. For example, when those big highway, traffic diverting crashes like the one here on the Watterson and Breckenridge Lane happen, share that information with you thanks to our digital team, and every other kind of story there for you to check in on and have the latest information to know exactly what you need to do to go about your day, and just have it there in your pocket thanks to the Wave News app. You can download the Wave Weather Now apps, all there at your disposal for sure. All right, we're going to wrap things up here as I've set up the camera to say one last goodbye here at 8:50. Appreciate you folks connecting with us. Sniffles aside, and pardon me for that, but appreciate you joining us, whether that's through the Wave Now medium on your smart TVs, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. Always happy to connect with you through those mediums here on the live stream as well. We're going to be getting ready for tonight's broadcast, Wave News at 11, with the storm tracking team, reporter Julie Richardson, and all the day's stories before we get ready for the Tuesday ahead. Appreciate you folks. I'm Jose Sosaya in the Wave Now studio. We'll be back here tomorrow at 8:05. Until then, take care.